Welcome to NFL Week 18. This is Yelling and Screaming. Sean, how you doing, bud?
Not too bad, not too bad. New year. Happy New Year, everybody. How's it going, Rick?
Good, man. We got a loaded slate here. Even the games that suck. I tried to find a little bit of intrigue in. I wanted to make Week 18 special because this is it. I mean, playoffs is NFL football for sure, but it's not the same as watching a meaningless afternoon game. So I tried to find a piece in every single game that I could take away. I'm excited to talk some ball.
Oh, hell yeah. Honestly, it's been exciting. Really, really good season. Great that it came down to the wire for a lot of divisions and still trying to figure out seeding. So that's really cool. Yeah, great slate today. It's going to be a fun week. And moving into playoffs, I mean, obviously we've been watching teams play for the last couple of weeks, like they had to be in playoff mode. And so even my dog right now is in playoff mode. He's got zoomies. So it's everybody's moving. Everybody's going to be moving today. It should be a fun slate for football.
Well, let's start with the NFC South. The Bucs beat the Panthers 16-14 yesterday. Is there anything more perfect for this awful division than this game not deciding who wins the division?
Honestly, it pissed me off a little bit. It's obviously funny that it doesn't decide a division. It makes no sense to me, but it does at the same time. But it's what happens when bad officiating makes or breaks a game. I mean, we had an instance here. This is the second time in a couple of weeks where weird officiating things happening that we're not used to seeing ends up being points worthy or causing a team points. I'm not sure if anybody else saw this, but there was a backwards pass that was ruled incomplete, only to be overturned and ruled a fumble and a 6-7 yard loss, which then pulls the team out of field goal range, and they end up missing a field goal. Now, obviously, there's still plenty of time left in the game, but when something like that happens, especially in a game that doesn't have a ton of scoring, you really start to look at where the official's impact is in the game and why it is so important. In my eyes, you let the play out, and it got challenged anyway, so it's not like it would have changed anything. But I mean, you end up having a guy stopping who had open field in front of him, could have got a couple of yards, hell, could have broke it off for a touchdown, who's to say? But he would not have got stopped where he was in the backfield had they let that play on. So it's just, one of those things in football that we take for granted. When the officiating goes the right way, we really criticize it when it goes the wrong way. So
we've done a pretty good job on our show not talking about officiating. Man, it came up, not to get too far off track, but it came up on Dead Ball Dancing yesterday. We're talking about the Gonzaga game and how when the league controls the products, they are incentivized to have things come out a certain way. Not saying that's what happened here, but if the NFL wants a team in position, they'll make sure it happens. They always do. We joke about the script, right? But officiating's got to be such a hard job that no one cares. Their own families probably hate them.
I just think that it's something that we've worked on different ways to make officiating better. They add cameras to every single part of the field. They make a whole booth of people whose job is to do replays. They change the rules about what can and can't be replayed. I was under the impression that incomplete passes weren't reviewable. And I'm sure in the last couple of years they've started to change every rule which way and few and far between to make the game better. But still, you see weird things happen that don't make sense to me. Like this play here. I mean, it's an incompletion. They lose the down. They don't lose yards. It's a fumble. They actually get the ball. They get the ball, and if it's ruled a fumble on the field, they get the ball. They have the chance to advance it. Somehow they got the double negative of it being an incompletion and a fumble, and you lose the yards. What do we do here? How do you remediate that? If anything, I mean, personal opinion, you replay the down if the officials fuck up like that. I'm sorry, but you can't penalize my offensive players for something that the officials fucked up on, and really start to dig into what are factors on the field and what are off the field factors, and we've got enough cameras, we've got enough people who better make that call. Hell, robots could have remade that call. Come on now, what are we doing here? So I don't know. It's just I don't like the harp on officiating because at the end of the day, it's a human element that's part of the game, and it really is something that makes sports unique. Outside of just regular competitions, it really does add an element to it, but it shouldn't be such a hindrance that it like hurts teams this badly.
Man, you know me, I'm a big baseball guy. Automatic balls and strikes is phenomenal. I love automatic balls and strikes, and I love how it either gets the crowd behind the ump when he's right on challenges, or everybody's just screaming at the guy when he's wrong. I don't know what the analogy would be for the NFL, but I like the chip in the ball. I think more digital, get the human element out of my game, and I'd be happier.
I don't mind the human element as long as it's corroborated. I love the fact that MLB does statistics on what good calls and bad calls referees make and officials make, and then that gives you something to actually gauge it, so whether or not they're doing their job well. The NFL has all the capabilities to do so. I mean, we see flags get thrown for all types of plays. You can go back and review there's always somebody who's reviewing those. Just give us the statistics on it. Let us know, hey, look, these officials right now, they're at a 60, 70, 80% rate. If you're anywhere near that, it would be, it would lend some, I think it would lend some responsibility and accountability to the officials than just, whoops, it happened, oh well. Like,
yeah, and I know they review them, I just don't think they publish them. But
they make almost $200,000 a year, bro. They make almost $200,000 a year.
Yeah.
Who has a job that you could just do stuff wrong all the time and nobody says shit about it? On Lawyers. TV, who has that job? Lawyers, you said? Nah, yeah. Bro. They have board. They gotta be board certified. They gotta do something.
Man, come on, Rafi. Rafi not board certified for nothing.
Oh, Rafi.
Cade Otton finally has the game that he probably should have been having all year. 7 catches for 94 yards, opening touchdown. That's kind of the stat line I expected from Otton, especially with all these wide receivers hurt. If you had told me that Igbuka had a great year with all these injuries, or Cade Otton went off with all these injuries, I would have picked Otton 99 times out of 100. Obviously, season went a little bit of a different direction. Good to see him get involved. Baker Mayfield kind of had every opportunity to lose this game. Interesting. We've talked a lot about who he is as a quarterback, and this show, big fan of Baker. We wanted him to be in position. I'm kind of cheering for the Saints today. I would like the Bucs to get in. I want Baker to have a shot at it because I think this is about it for him. Who knows what happens in Tampa after the season, but horrific end to the year for the Buccaneers. Not really encouraging for the future.
You are absolutely correct on enjoying watching Baker play and what happened in this collapse of a season where you close the season out with 2 out of 8 wins or 2 out of 9 wins. I mean, was it 3 out of 10? Like, that's abysmal. Terrible way to end the season. I will say this, though. I think that they will give him grace here. I think that a healthy receiver core, healthy running back core, coming back next year, even healthy, everybody healthy on the team. I think this team is much more formidable. I think that they're still the better team, the best team in their division, no matter what happens this year. And so I think he gets some lead. He comes back next year, and they're looking to take the division. However, I've been talking about this all season. I want Carolina to make the playoffs. It's a good Cinderella story for us to start the season off, and you being such a great fan of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and to see both of those quarterbacks close their seasons out, winning, in winning fashion, playing good football. It just brought a little bit of joy to my heart, especially since we talk about guys like Lamar and Josh all the time and how they're these dual threat high pedigree quarterbacks, and we talk about some guys from some other schools that they don't get the same love, but at the end of the day, they're potentially playoff quarterbacks here. And so, we're looking at we're looking at the same record for Josh versus CJ. We're looking at, a potential division championship from Carolina versus neither one of those other two guys potentially. So, what are we that's the beauty of football is that, your early season analyses don't always pan out.
comparing Bryce Young to CJ Stroud is everything I need to just double down on what I'm thinking. Yeah, Bryce Young played well. We saw him make some of the throws he usually misses. Had them in position to win this game. Really atrocious run offense from the Panthers. It's really what cost them the game. You'd think, especially in a weather game, there would have been a little bit more of a focus on it. They only run the ball 14 times for 19 yards.
But I think that was the Bucs' focus. You look at what they did this whole season, and what really kept them in a lot of games and what really made them a playoff caliber team in Carolina was their run game. I mean, you got 2 running backs who were potential 1,000-yard rushers, and so that was what really got them to be so formidable in their division. And in Carolina, and Tampa Bay knew that. And so they knew coming into this game, they had to scheme well against that. They've got some solid linebackers, smart guys back there. And so they knew that was really like, if you forced Bryce Young to beat you, you have the best chance of winning the game. It just was unfortunate that he did not do what he needed to do to get the win here, but still has a chance to win a division and be a playoff team.
Well, and I think that's why I'm pulling for Tampa Bay, right? Like whoever wins the division, right? But they're sub 500. So for me, looking at that Carolina rush attack, that's unacceptable from a playoff team. You can't do that, right? Like you can't be so one-dimensional in a playoff game. So when I'm thinking about the NFC South, and I mean realistically, both of these teams loses their matchup against the 7, right? Against the Packers. Is that how that would play out? Yeah.
I think the Packers are 7.
So like, yes, playoff team, but also sub 500, right? And those kind of blemishes, we're talking about how much better Bryce Young has gotten. Okay, well, if your run game is so one-dimensional with 2 different style backs that you can be shut down by another sub 500 team, that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies about being able to go to host the Packers and win a game, because the Packers are better than the Bucs are on defense.
True, but we're talking about a divisional game. Teams that scheme against each other usually pretty well. They understand each other's offenses and defense a lot better than 2 non-division teams. And I think that even though the Bucs might be better than the Packers are, even though the Packers might be better than the Bucs are as far as run defense goes, they're still missing Micah Parsons. And so their defense is going to be shifted around. We've seen at the end of their season that they did not play nearly as well without him running that defense, and really helping them make those adjustments in scheme. We've seen some teams lose their top guy and make adjustments. The Packers, I have not seen that from them. So if there was a team that was going to be slippery enough I think they played the 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4 plays 5. So they're not playing the Packers. They would be playing either Niners or LA. Niners or Rams.
Yeah. Okay. That's worse.
That's even worse.
That's worse.
That's even worse. Those teams are significantly better run defenses, and they're much healthier teams right now on defense. So if you're looking at those 2 teams right now, I mean, yeah, if you're Carolina, you obviously you hope that you can win. You win the division. If you're Tampa Bay, same thing. But I don't see this team beating either one of those 2 teams. We're going to be very angry coming into the end of the season and going to the playoffs, knowing that they had the opportunity, both of them, to be number 1 overall seeds and couldn't close out the season. So I'm expecting next week you're going to see very, very, very hard home game from whoever wins this division.
Other side of the country, the Seahawks beat the Niners 13-3. The blackout Niners, man. Mm-hmm. Those are pretty sick. But Seahawks,
they didn't do enough job. They didn't do enough with them. No. Right. They got blacked out.
Darnold had another game manager kind of game in a win, 20 for 26 for 198. Interesting. It's kind of weird the way he shifted late in the year here. And it's working, right? It's been what they've needed, but I kind of feel like he was responsible for a lot of their wins early in the year, and he's been responsible for guiding them to not losing late in the year. Walker and the Charred Bonnet did their thing, right? Like they took the role of one bell cow back, And Darnold converted where he needed to. A solid game from him, not great statistically, but didn't cost them the game either. And that's kind of who he was before. Early this year, he's had some games where he looked incredible. But a game manager, Darnold, with this running back core and just knowing that you can move the chains whenever you want with JSN, this is working for the Seahawks. They look really, really good.
They solidified themselves, obviously winning the number 1 seed, but just looking at the way that they played against a team that we expected to have one of the stronger defenses in the NFC. The Niners have played well all season, and I thought that their offense was always a handicap for them. That's where they struggled a little bit more. And Darnold, say the game manager, but the numbers are cleaner than you would. They're clean numbers. Only 2 sacks, and 20 for 26. That's good numbers. That's clean. He didn't get asked to throw touchdown passes. He didn't have to. I mean, when you've got 2 running backs, one who almost hit 100 and another one who was damn near close enough to it, rushed for 180 yards. I mean, that's clock management. That's your team making sure that the other team does not get the ball back to do anything with it. And then on the other side of the ball, you look at what they did to Christian McCaffrey and that rush game for San Francisco. I mean, you're holding a guy who's super dynamic, arguably the most dynamic player in football. I mean, I think Bijan's right there with him. But have been doing it for years. And you hold him to not only just 23 rushing yards, but a total of 57 yards for a guy who's going to be 1,000-yard receiver and rusher. In the same season, you hold them to 57 total yards. You killed their offense completely. I mean, they had their offense was not able to get anything going. And so that's what you need to see from the defensive side. Seattle all season has been a top 10 defense in the NFL. And this is where you see them. And especially in a game, again, we're talking about divisional games. Teams should be scheming better against each other. A healthy Seattle team playing all year long together, playing tough, understanding what happens in the trenches, understanding where their team needs to step things up. I think this is obviously the toughest team to watch right now in the playoffs. There is nobody right now who I think will eclipse Seattle unless we're talking about a few teams that have some really strong playoff experience together. Right now, they're just too tough of a team to beat.
Purdy, acknowledging how good Seattle is, I have talked about it a lot this year. Purdy sucks. Purdy is a plug-and-play quarterback. There's no difference between Purdy and Mac Jones except paycheck. And when you see a game like this, which is a de facto playoff game at home, you break out your rivalry blacks, right? I don't know how you can sit in the Niners front office and feel good with Purdy. Because not only is he a liability on the field, but he's a liability for the payroll. Like, there's not enough salary cap space to be holding a guy like this that costs you a game. Like, he is no different than a replacement level quarterback in my mind. He's a system guy, and it works, right? I mean, he's won more games than he's lost. He's looked really good before. But like when Mac Jones can step in, albeit in a small sample size, right? With 5-6 games he played, but he looked identical, and the record was identical. So that's my concern for the Niners heading into the playoffs, but also for next year. I don't think Purdy can win them a playoff game, and this team is built in a way where he doesn't need to. Right, the Niners can win a playoff game
without him winning it. Yeah, he gets the big.
But you don't win a Super Bowl without a quarterback who can win a friggin' game. So obviously that's a long way down the road. But 19 for 27 for 127 and a pick is atrocious for a team of this quality. This 49ers team. I mean, if the scores have been flipped, right? We'd be talking about how awesome their season was and how how well positioned they are, and like. They're 12-5. They're better than half the teams making the playoffs in the AFC. So, like, it's hard to take too much away from them, but that's my concern.
So my one takeaway from this is that they just played the best team in the NFL. They just played the best team in the NFL. In a divisional game to close out the season, Seattle wanted to lock up that 1 seed, and they weren't going to take any downs off. You look at the way that they played in the previous week against the Bears. If you are San Fran, you still like your chances. I still think that you are expecting that you're not. If you see Seattle again, it will not be until the NFC Championship, and at that point, you're fine with letting that game be the deciding factor. You think you've got it, what you need at that point if you get there, to be able to take them down. Again, it's not like Seattle scored a ton; they didn't blow them out. We are talking about a 2-score game here, but realistically, we're talking about a touchdown and a field goal over a quarter and a half. Because realistically, they get the one field goal, but over a quarter a quarter and a half. Realistically, like you need to be able to put points on the board when you can. And I think that they feel like they can do that, especially the way they just played. I think that they feel like they're in a good position regardless. Obviously, locking up the seed, getting the bye would have been great. But if you're San Fran, you are significantly you feel much better about your situation than a lot of people might give you credit for. Again, I always felt like they were kind of limping along for the season, edging out a lot of teams, not really feeling as though that they were that top tier team personally, but also they did have a pretty soft schedule. A fair amount of games that they played against some not so high caliber teams. Wins against the Saints, the Cardinals, the Giants, the Cards again. You play the Browns, you play the Titans, you play the Colts in the Colts who've already collapsed. You're liking your chances. I think that they scheme a little bit different if they get to that NFC Championship, and hopefully do some things and get Darnold onto the ground a little more than twice, give him a few more hurries, and I think that they feel like they'll have a better chance of winning that game. I don't see that they're going to do any different. They're going to absolutely keep Purdy where he is. I think that in that sample size of Mac Jones versus Purdy, I think it looked better for Mac Jones than it did look bad for Brock Purdy. It absolutely looked like Mac Jones could just come in and run that offense, but we've seen that happen a lot in certain organizations, right? You've got certain organizations where you've got quarterbacks that are absolutely plug and play. It seems like the same guy, no matter what happens, who comes in and out. And so that's a more of a representation of the organization, I'd say, overall, being well structured and understanding what they need from their players, versus a specific talent level to pull from one player to the next. And then for a team that receiver core, injuries with the running back, just injuries all over the place, for them to still end up battling for the number 1 seed in the NFC is incredible. So I don't think that they're going to take anything away from this season, even if they end up losing first round in the playoffs. I think they're going to take it as still a successful season, and then Purdy's going to come back next year. They're going to expect some healthy guys. They're going to bring in, maybe bring in one other guy to kind of help bolster that offense up a little bit. And then boom, I think that they'll probably be right back in our conversations next season.
Yeah. From what I can see, they're not losing many pieces, if any.
Yeah.
All right. Game of the week. We are going to go with
all the way to the end.
A game, Sean, that might have a head coach fired from the losing team.
I don't see it.
Is it possible?
No, I don't see it. You cannot. Here's my only thing, and we want to tell you guys right now. Game of the week: Ravens Steelers. The games for the division. If you are a Ravens fan, for all the shit that you've gone through, Lamar in and out this season and in the injury, the fact that you guys are still here fighting for your division, kudos to you. I'm sure as a Lamar fan, as a Ravens fan, as a football fan, you expected every game to come in and dominate. You expected earlier in the season Lamar throwing for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns, that it was going to be easy cake all season long. But football is about adversity. It's about overcoming that adversity. And, you start to see what happens when people are on the field and when they're off the field. And for your team to still be fighting for a division title and a playoff spot at the end of the season is really all you can ask for from an injured MVP. With that being said, if you are a Steelers fan, you're not necessarily disappointed, but still not necessarily on the happiest note. I mean, you expected that picking up Rodgers was going to bolster your team to that next level, and all it did was get you exactly where you were before, just above 500. So
We've beaten this to death this year. I mean, I hope by now everyone knows my thoughts on the cheatiness ass coach in the NFL. Yes, got some rings with a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mike Tomlin
Rodgers is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Technically, Rodgers
but he's not getting a ring this year. Mike Tomlin is incapable of inspiring men to play together to win sport games. That's it.
Rick, there's no way
that's 500 because he is middling. He sucks. I hate that I'm in a position where I have to cheer for the stupid Ravens and awful Lamar Jackson because I want the Ravens to win this game by 30 because I want Mike Tomlin to get fired and I never want to have to see his face again, chewing on the gum with his big stupid aviators on. Fuck Mike Tomlin.
He's not going to get fired, Rick.
Now to football. He's not going
to get fired. He's not going to get fired.
I hope he does. I think there's a chance whoever loses this game gets fired.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way that you fire your coach after battling injuries with an MVP quarterback and still making it to the and still having the potential to win the division. And there's no way you get fired if you're Mike Tomlin, who's been there for 50 years, and every single year you're battling for the division. That shouldn't
mean anything. What that means is that you're okay with your culture stagnating. You're okay with being mediocre. You're okay with being 500 culturally.
There are lots of coaches that should be fired. There are plenty of coaches that deserve to be fired. There are but if you're a Steelers, if you're the Steelers organization right now, what coach do you go after that is more significant than you adding the right?
Phillip Rivers.
Absolutely not.
Right, can we talk football? I don't want to talk about it.
I am. Last thing. I'm just going to say. Last thing. What coach do you go after that you? By the way, we're talking about an organization that's had 3 coaches in 100 years. Like, you think they're going to get rid of Tomlin now after if he wins a division, or even if he loses it by 1 game, he still ends up above 500? No way in hell. There's other issues that team has that they need to fix player wise. And I think that no matter what happens, they're going to find ways to add players into certain positions with the hope that Tomlin can still get them back to the promised land at least next year. Next year, different story. But this year, no, I don't see him getting fired.
See, and I think if Rodgers has 1 more year in him, it's a good time to make a coaching change. You draft a quarterback, you bring back Rodgers, you let a coach have a Rodgers year and then guide into that rookie quarterback, the second-year quarterback in year 2. And maybe you have a chance to actually have a quarterback that's worth a damn in a couple of years.
Mid-season. I'd rather fire Tomlin mid-season, seeing if I'd give me all of what you just said, but instead of firing him I'd rather fire him mid-season. I'd rather see if he's going to be
4-4 coming out of the bye, and they'll be in first place in the AFC North.
Still, you can still fire him then. You can still fire him then. If they're 4-4, still leading the division. If they're 3-5, still fire him. If they're 6-2, you can fire him. Whatever. But give me a chance. Give me a chance to see what he could do if you're looking to bring in a new quarterback. Because if I'm the organization, again, who are you going to pick up? Freeman said he's not going anywhere. And there's really not anybody else who's in the market who I'm looking at. I mean, maybe an OC or a DC from Seattle or not Carolina, Jesus, Bears, maybe. You steal somebody from one of the top teams, one of the OCs or DCs, but there's nobody really on the market right now. So you keep the guy who's there and you add some pieces and you hope for the best.
We could do a whole show on
just Tomlin.
From a football standpoint, I think the Steelers
are better team.
Are better. Mm-hmm. Now, the Ravens defense has improved leaps and bounds. Obviously, the defense we saw from them early in the year is not where they ended up. And the Steelers' offense is not world beating. I don't think the Ravens have an answer for Metcalf. And that's a big problem to have left open. But this feels like AFC North. This feels like 16-13 or 15-9 or some crap like that, where one breakaway, not even score, right? But just a big chunk play could win this game. It's supposed to be cold. It's supposed to be snowy. Lamar's not right still.
No, he's not. But he's not going to not play because that's what men do.
Yeah, and we've talked about this. I kind of wish he wouldn't, because when he's trying to make up for not being 100%, he makes mistakes that he doesn't normally make.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, my pick in this game is the Steelers. I don't feel great about it. And you could give me any score up to like a 10-point win either way, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And I could game script it. I don't know exactly what to expect quarter by quarter, play by play, but the Steelers should be able to control the line of scrimmage on offense, and they have the better playmakers on the backside if Lamar is not at 100%. I think if Lamar comes out and he's good to go, this Ravens offense can move the ball better and score more points, but I just don't think he's there.
I can agree with that. It will come down to two things, in my opinion, and both of them are the Ravens. It will come down to how dynamic they use Kyle Hamilton in this game, whether or not they're going to have him more up in the box, kind of going after Jalen Warren, and making sure that the Steelers, offense isn't able to control the clock. And it's going to come down to Lamar and what he can do in the backfield as far as making people have to guess whether or not it's going to be passes or runs or design plays. I think you are absolutely correct. The biggest issue is that he's so dynamic of a player that when he's not on, he's not good. He makes a lot of bonehead mistakes. He doesn't get the ball to where it needs to. He misses receivers. His mobility is not there, and so you see some things that he wants to do, but just physically isn't able to or can't do them well anymore. A lot of those little moves and things like that, little juke moves, little fakes here and there, the nuances to his game are gone right now. He just doesn't have it in his feet and his legs, and that really hinders his ability to be a quarterback, especially at this level in the NFL. So I definitely think that the Steelers have the advantage in this game. It's a home game. Their team's healthier. Their quarterback understands that this is what he needs to do. He should be able to win them this game by being more of a game manager. He shouldn't necessarily have to throw a bunch of touchdown passes, because I don't expect that the Ravens are going to just blast it open. But it depends on what happens with the Steelers defense too. I mean, we have seen them give up lots of points, and we've seen Baltimore score lots of points. So, I mean, it's a winner-take-all game. It should be a fun game. Also, Sunday Night Football to close out the season. You've got two grinded-out type of teams playing against each other. It's nothing better.
TJ Watt expected to play tonight. Broken ribs, punctured lungs, be damned. He wants a piece of Lamar.
Well, hopefully he keeps all his pieces in his own body.
Let's get into this board. It's a good board. We got a lot more football to talk here. Titans, Jaguars. Mike McCoy came out. He said, "We hate the Jaguars. I want to cost them their spot." That's what I love to hear. That's what football is all about. The Titans still suck. If the Jaguars win, they lock the division. If the Jaguars win and Denver and New England lose, they lock the 1 seed in the bye. But if they lose and Houston wins the division. Those are the permutations in this game. Jaguars are 13.5-point favorites over the Titans that everybody's playing.
Absolutely, everybody knows that. Come on now, this is not this is not new here. We've seen the Titans all season long. Jaguars are going to come out and play a real game. The fun thing to watch here is whether or not Tennessee does some really interesting and fun things that we haven't seen teams do against the Jaguars. Throws up a couple of trick plays. I think it'll be a fun game to watch, but I do not expect that the Tennessee Titans are going to really stand a chance against this team. Now, with that being said, the Jags could absolutely throw a duck up there and just play down to Tennessee, which would be to their detriment. But a home game, playing against one of the worst teams in the NFL for the chance to lock up the division and or the conference, you got to put your best product on the field. So I'm expecting that they're gonna come out swinging early, and then they're gonna try to game manage the clock, and hopefully they'll do what the Patriots did if they're last week, and just put up big numbers early so you can coast.
Other side of this division, starting at the same time, Colts and Texans. Texans don't move unless the Jags lose. Riley Leonard starting for the Colts. Phillip Rivers is doing practice interviews for the Pittsburgh Steelers head coaching job. He'll be on the sideline, preoccupied. Can Riley Leonard, if all other things on the Colts offense are set, we got JTT at full strength, everything's normal, do you think Riley Leonard is good enough to win a game against the Colts? Maybe not this game where the Colts are, or the Texans are playing for so much, but do you think that the Colts offense with Riley Leonard is the answer next year?
No. That's it. Just no. I'm never going to add anything to it. Realistically, we just don't. Riley Leonard would have to be Peyton Manning. He would have to be Peyton Manning for that to be the case. I mean, we watched what Daniel Jones did with this offense early on, and it was so unexpected. Like, they're putting up crazy numbers early on. It was mad and shit. Like, it made no sense to me. And then we watched the NFL go, wait a minute. Okay, never mind. And then just dismantle them the entire. For a team to start off 7-0 and not make the playoffs is the first time it's ever happened in NFL history, and that really goes to show the true inept nature of this team. I gave Carly Ursay some love early on. I really appreciated the energy that she was bringing to the team, but we're looking at a Texans team right now that is hungry. They are closing out this season with arguably the best defense in the NFL. There are a couple other teams who are right up there, but arguably the best defense in the NFL, definitely playing through the back half. And their offense is playing adequately, scoring when they need to, and doing what they need to do to get to be able to win games. This Colts team doesn't have really anything to play for except spoiler. Evaluating Leonard, would be great for him. Jonathan Taylor, obviously taking the rushing title would be great for him if he can get some crazy numbers. The only thing that I could see here is that they would have to scheme a way to get Taylor 3 touchdowns. If he gets 3 touchdowns against this defense, then that means that it's really, really a bad day for the Texans, and that means that the Colts are controlling the clock, and that's what they don't want. So that's the only way I could see them winning this game and moving forward as an organization. I think that Daniel Jones might still be a good fit for the team. However, they have some other things that they need to fix.
Browns and Bengals. This one's meaningless outside of the Myles Garrett sack watch. If he can get one, he sets the new all-time record. Based on the history of these two teams, I think he probably gets it.
He's going to get it.
And Burrow's such a goober. Burrow might give him one, Like, he might just lay down. Like if he's in his face instead of throwing it away, he might just lay down for him because that's what Burrow does. He lays down.
The funny thing about this game too is Joe Burrow could throw 5 touchdown passes and no one would care if Myles Garrett got 1 sack. And the sack, I bet you the sack that he gets is going to be like he's holding him in the backfield. He doesn't even get it to the ground. It's just
yeah. I can see it. I can see it.
100%, dude. What if he gets like a half sack? Like, it's just stuck at a half.
Oh, I'd laugh my ass off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if I'm somebody else on that D line, I'm not going near the quarterback. Not even approaching. If you cost him the record, he might kill you in the locker room.
You gotta just if you're on a D line, you're pushing guys into it so they can move to that way. You're blitzing from the other side all day long, so he's always scrambling to that side.
Cowboys Giants. Cowboys need a win to have a winning season, which is kind of funny to say. Do you care about this game at all? This doesn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter to me at all, but I will say this. If you are a Cowboys fan, the way your season started off and the way it's ending, you've got some hope for next year. You lost arguably one of the better pass rushers in the NFL. You had a whole bunch of turmoil with contracts and shit like that. If you end up with a winning season, you feel better about where your organization is going. If you're the Giants, you're excited about next year because you'll have some healthy guys back who you feel like are the future of your team. So for both of these teams, I think even though this game doesn't necessarily mean too much of anything, I think both of them are ending their seasons with hopes that next year there'll be much better matches for the Eagles in that NFC East and hopefully for the conference as well in the NFL. So I think they're both hoping for the right things.
Sean's got the warm and fuzzies today. He's all positivity. I'm picking the Giants to win this game because it's the funniest outcome. They screwed themselves out of a better draft pick, and the Cowboys don't get to 500. Give me the Giants.
I was trying to be nice, Rick. All right, this is the first time I said something nice about the Cowboys all
I know
season.
it was weird. It made me uncomfortable. Yeah, you know what else makes me uncomfortable? JJ McCarthy and the Vikings being 12.5-point favorites over the Packers backups.
Because they don't have, it's wild.
They're resting everybody. I think the only thing that's really intriguing in this game for me, Justin Jefferson needs 53 yards to get to 1,000. Do you think there's any way that doesn't happen?
Yeah, plenty of ways that doesn't happen is if they lose another quarterback. That's the easiest way if they lose another quarterback.
But the game plan is throw the ball to Justin Jefferson every single play. I mean, you get at least 4 chances a drive, right?
That's 3. They gotta pretend like they're gonna run the ball at once. And then they got to punt. So
if Justin Jefferson's at 998 yards, there's no more.
You're throwing it on 4th down. 100%. Well, I will say this: if Justin Jefferson gets 52 yards, and time running out on the clock, they can't get it to him, I would fucking die. I would laugh so hard. But no, 100%. I think he's going to get it today. Obviously. Do you think anybody's going to start pitching it back, try to get him the yards? But we got to get it.
That would be incredible. Incredible.
Hey, why not? This game doesn't mean anything for either one of these teams, realistically. However, again, one of those instances where an organization feels like they're looking up. Obviously, Packers are making the playoffs. If you are the Vikings in this Kevin O'Connell system, and you're not losing, your season isn't necessarily a loss. You had a lot of injuries, especially at the quarterback position. I think they're looking up as well. I think next year they think that they're going to be another team that's going to challenge in their division as well. So kudos to them. I hope the Vikings win this game. Not gonna lie, I think it'd be hilarious.
The Vikings with a win will be the best team to not make the playoffs, and will have the lowest possible draft pick of non-playoff teams. Job well done. Saints Falcons could have been a game of the week if we had known how yesterday's was going to go. This is the game that determines the NFC South.
This is game 1B.
I know what you're thinking, viewers. Who's going to win, the Saints or the Falcons? Well, neither. If the Falcons win, the Bucs are – sorry, if the Saints win, the Bucs are in. If the Falcons win, the Panthers are in.
The Panthers are in.
This is two teams that hate each other, so this should be pretty well fought. This game itself is completely meaningless for the teams in it, but obviously will determine the winner of the South. We'll see, man. I don't know what to expect from this game. Saints have looked good lately. Falcons obviously have a ton of injuries, but Bijan's a monster, man. That game last week, he's something else.
He is, and he's my dual threat in the NFL right now. We talk about Christian McCaffrey and his utility. Anybody who's not looking to draft Bijan number 1 next season is nuts. I know that you guys understand how utility works, and this guy is doing everything for his team possible. And this is, again, with injuries too. You got injuries at quarterback, you got injuries at receiver. Imagine a healthy Atlanta team. And then what they could do when you don't know that every single play is going to go to Bijan. It'll be fun to watch next season. I will say this too. I'm going to go ahead and say that Atlanta wins this game. If they don't, it's a freaking shame. They are definitely the healthier team, not by a very much, but I think they're the healthier team. And as far as how they've played this season, they've played some tighter games against better teams than the Saints have. I think that if you're Atlanta, you want this win. You want to show that you're just on the edge of being above 500. If you're the Saints, you've already chosen that Shaw. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Shuck, like an oyster. Shuck.
Jesus Christ, it's not spelled correctly. I hate that. Shuck is going to be your quarterback moving forward. So you guys have done what you need to do. Get healthy next season, and add a few pieces, and hopefully you are challenging in your division.
This next one, Jets and Bills, is probably the most interesting game on the slate to me. The Bills can be the 5, the 6, or the 7. It's super convoluted. To be the 5, they need 9 game outcomes. They need like 5 wins from 7 teams and then 2 losses from 3 teams kind of thing. Because of that and the way they're talking, I think it's most likely that the starters come out, play a quarter. This will be the last game at Highmark Stadium.
That's true.
I think they take everybody out, do a little last look, and then rest everybody. I don't think it matters if they're the 5, the 6, or the 7. Being the 7, you pull New England conceptually.
I think that matters.
Maybe you want that less, but like maybe the 5 seed go play the Steelers, maybe. But this Bills team hasn't played in a way where I think they can successfully game plan against anybody. They just kind of go out there, and if the big boy has his head screwed on straight, they win, and if he doesn't, they lose. So I don't know. They haven't come out and said this is what they're going to do, but I wouldn't be shocked to see the starters play a quarter and then sit if the game's out of hand.
You are right. There's going to be so much going on here. If you are the Bills, you want to play Pittsburgh first. There's really you don't want to play a hot Jags team away. You don't want to play New England away. And for whatever, and if the gods will it, if you had to play Denver away, you don't want to play any one of those teams away, especially if they're coming off being hot, being angry, or being hot coming in. You don't want to play any of them away. Realistically, the one team you want to play is Pittsburgh. So I think that if you're the Bills,
the 5's the easy one. Let me give you this really quick, and then you can finish your thought. The Bills are the 5 with a win, right? And losses by the Texans and Chargers.
Okay.
The 6 is the crazy one. 7's easy, just lose. 5's straightforward. 6 is the nonsense one. So you could get to the 5 if you win your game and then have some shit fall out.
Here's my problem, right? Here's the funniest thing for me. We talked about Josh Allen and about him getting over the hump. We talked about what he needed for his team. And earlier on in the season, we looked at, okay, well, they finally got a running back that really is the guy. And we've talked about last year about the inconsistencies of the defense, how they play, how they can give up 30, 40 points, whatever the case is. Now we're in a situation again where Josh Allen is in a tough spot. They should have performed a little bit better this season. We watched them really stink it up again in some games. And obviously they played tough games, but they really watched them really stink it up in some games. He's not winning MVP this year. We know that. So if you are the Bills, what are you doing next year to get yourselves to be the 1 seed or 2 seed? Because Mahomes is coming back. You know that the Chargers are going. You know that the Chargers feel like that they're going to be a better team next year. You know that New England's now like, hey, we're here. Denver's now we're here. The Jaguars are now we're here. So if you're the Bills, you went from being number 2 to number 6, 7, dude. How does that feel? How does that what do you do to move from that place if you're a team who was supposed to be an AFC Championship to Super Bowl team every year? I mean, is Josh Allen just going to be the next Dan Marino? Is he going to be really, really great during the regular season and never quite get to the big game? I mean, he's not even Jim Kelly, which is saying something. He's not even Jim Kelly. And maybe he is. Maybe he's a Jim Kelly, future Jim Kelly, just doesn't make it, dude. I don't know. What do you do? You can't score 50 points every game.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I was thinking, I was finding this scenario for the 6th seed, but I was also thinking about how their new stadium doesn't have a roof on it. And I hate the Bills. We watched that Bills Christmas movie, and God, that is most of our buddy Ski, and that movie is all of my exposure to the city of Buffalo, and I don't want to go there ever. The Bills can clinch the 6th seed with a win, a Chargers and a Texans win, a Jaguars loss, and 5 wins from any of these teams: Cowboys, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, Eagles, Steelers, Seahawks, Buccaneers. So the Bucs wins, that's one of them. Yeah, the 6 is wild. The 6, I just want to see it on the Red Zone channel. I just want to see the checklist.
I don't understand. Like, but if you're the Bills, what do you do next year? The new stadium's not going to change whether or not you're going to win or lose. Not going to change anything.
What?
Defense. They got to bolster their defense.
What?
They got to bolster their defense.
New uniforms. New uniforms will decide if you win or lose.
New cleats. No,
Look
you're
good,
right.
Feel good. Dolphins Patriots is New England's the 1 seed if they win and the Broncos lose. Otherwise, no movement. This one's kind of locked in.
Well, no, you said Jaguars, right? The Jags take the 2 if they win. If New England loses and the Jags win, do the Jags take the 2, or the Jags stay at 3?
I think they can only get to the 1.
Oh, Jags can only go 2, 3, or 1. Gotcha.
I believe so.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff on my screen right now.
Yeah, I figured as much, dude. No, that's honestly, I just love the fact that we're still challenging. We still have games that matter in the last week, and every game matters. Even the games that are against good teams against each other still matter, which I love that. The fact that we're watching a divisional game be decided by 2 non-teams that won't make the playoffs is hilarious. Like, that's just, you can't script it any better. I will say this: in the history of the Dolphins and the Patriots, and watching them play each other over last 20 years, the Dolphins winning this game to keep the Patriots from getting the potential number 1 seed would just be right on par with like, imagine that move right there, just right on par with and Mike McDaniel keeps his job. Because if you're Mike McDaniel and you end up with the Dolphins team that, again, a team who has underperformed all season, you deal with injuries, you did all that type of stuff, but an 8-9 Dolphins team, I think he keeps his job.
Yeah, he probably does. Especially if you could beat this Patriots juggernaut with the cast of characters that they're going to roll out there.
Oh.
I like Ewers. He has not looked good. The wide receivers that Ewers is throwing to are guys I didn't know were in the NFL. So it would be something. But that's kind of, yeah, no, now you put that out there. That might be a thing now.
It's on par with their history, right? And then what happens if you're New England? If you're New England, right? You're in the second. You're in the slate right now, and it's halftime, and your game's tight. But everything, but the Broncos already won. The Jags already, let's say the Jags lost for whatever reason. So now, like, what do you do? Like, what's the point? You just sit everybody. You said they could still get that win. Like, does it what happens? And I would just
the Broncos will be playing at the same time that the Jags game will be over. So let's jump to that game. Chargers, Broncos. Broncos are the 1 seed with a win. The Chargers are resting all their starters. It's a meaningless game for the Chargers. If the Chargers win, it would be their first undefeated season against their division ever. But they are resting everybody. Broncos are 14-point favorites. Obviously need it to get the 1 seed. I don't see any way the Broncos lose this game.
That's fair. They shouldn't lose this game. The way that they played all season and the way they played in the division, I mean, like, this should be a pretty easy win for them. Playing at home,
they're better than the Chargers starters. So, who's the backup quarterback for the Chargers?
Oh, I have no idea. Who was? Herbert was. What's his name?
This is great radio. It's Trey Lance.
Oh.
And then DJ Uiagalelei is the third string guy. We're gonna get to see Trey Lance play football today against the Broncos. He was in Dallas.
Lance?
Yeah.
Lance.
I couldn't have told you DJ was in the NFL.
No, dude. Hey, look, this game's gonna be stupid. If you're the Broncos, you close it out. You get the number 1 seed. You get the bye. It's worth it. You get the week off anyway. The Chargers need the week off. The Broncos don't need this week off because they're getting next week off.
Well, you get the bye, and then you might get the Chargers again coming out of the bye. So that would be interesting.
Oh my goodness. Well, it depends on how everything else
plays. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
NFC North. Caleb Williams needs 270 passing yards today to be the greatest Bears quarterback of all time.
The first 4,000?
The first 4,000. The Bears are a 2 seed with a win or an Eagles loss, but that 4,000 yard is got to be the target for this team. 3.5 point favorite over the Lions. You think he gets it done, Sean?
You say 270?
270.
No, I don't think he gets it
hater.
done. I think he's going. No, not a hater. Hear me out. I think that their rush offense is going to be what makes this game out of reach for the Lions, and I think that they're going to use that more than they try to do the passing. I think that he's more concerned about winning than he is about that record. I think Ben Johnson's the same way. I really think that this team's mentality is much more of a we got to get it done the way we need to, and the rush offense is what makes their team so dynamic. It makes them a better team, and it doesn't make sense for them to go away from that in this game. Then and it's especially if you really need to win this game, if you want to keep that two seed, you want to put your best product out there, and their run game is really what sets them apart. I think that's what they're going to rely on today, and it's better for game management. I mean, don't get me wrong, Caleb Williams slinging it is what all Bear fans have been waiting for since Jay Cutler. But at the end of the day, you're not relying on that. And so if he throws for 265 and gets to 39.95, are you going to be mad at him? Are you going to be happy that your team locked up the 2 seed after realizing that you needed to make the changes and getting a new coach in there and all the talk? This is what they wanted. This is what they were waiting for. Their 4,000 yard passes, shit, this is irrelevant. And you know what they'll do anyway? What they'll do is they'll just subtract sack yards, and they'll say it happened anyway. Who cares? They'll add the sack yards back.
38-17 Bears. Caleb goes for 325, 4 passing touchdowns. Loveland, Burden, Moore, and Swift through the air. The Bears win. The Bears are the 2 seed.
Well, that sounds beautiful. I hope that's a Bears fever dream, a wet dream, Chicago wet dream. And
I said it in case Goodell's watching.
He just creamed.
Commanders, Eagles. Eagles are the 2 seed with a win and a Bears loss. Von Miller needs 1 sack for $500,000.
He's gonna probably get the sack. I will say that the Eagles defense, we talked about the Texans defense, and we talked about what happened when they lost Jalen Carter. Eagles defense statistically has been one of the best, if not best, defenses since the bye in the NFL. Regardless of what their offensive struggles have been, the inconsistencies, the defense has been dominant. And so when you factor that in against an inept Commanders team, this should be a pretty easy game for them to win, especially since they just beat them like 2 weeks ago, and they dismantled them like 2 weeks ago. And it still means something for them. If you're the Eagles, your goal today is just to show that your offense is moving in the right direction. You need to make sure that you've controlled the game clock here, and your offense is going to keep you in these playoff games because that's where your losses will come from. If you lose in the playoffs, it's because your offense is inept. The defense has played phenomenally in the adjustments. Jalen Carter, we know he's a top 75 player in the NFL as far as defense goes, and you know that they've got a bunch of other guys that they brought. They brought Brandon Graham back. They got a couple other guys in there that they brought in at the trade deadline. That's what they were expecting. They were hoping that their defense would continue to do that. The offense needs to match it. If they do that, then they're going to be another team to fight. There's going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs.
Sean, I know we said we weren't doing presents, but I got you a late Christmas present. Pickett and O'Connell are going to rotate drives all day for the Raiders in this game today. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, buddy. I did this for you.
Great. So it's going to be 6 interceptions and 4 fumbles. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I got on this one too. No Malik Willis for the Packers. Inactives are rolling in, so if you're still doing fantasy, check your lineups. There's some interesting ones. Nothing that really is going to move much, but take a look. Last game on our slate is Cardinals and Rams. Rams are the 5 seed with a win. All the starters are playing according to the coach. The Cardinals have not won a division game this year. So maybe that's what they're playing for. They're saying all the right things, but they still are awful. I got the Rams big in this one.
The Cardinals are playing for spoiler at best. They really just want to have – they really need to do something here. But I think that the Rams are going to – they're going to close out the season, wrap up the Cardinals here, put up some numbers big, and then give their guys some rest at the end. I think that realistically the Rams should have been the number 1 seed, but that's what happens when you don't win games. You don't win games. It doesn't matter what you should or would have could have doing. Early on, they were toughest team in football. You look at Stafford's numbers and you're like, this guy's, and it's still, his numbers still say MVP. He's still MVP numbers. It's going to happen. But outside of that, team performance, rush offense, not doing what it needs to do. Defense giving up more points than they need to win games. So if you're them, first of all, you 100% want to lock up the 5. I would rather be if you don't lock up the 5, it's going to be a much tougher battle against significantly better defensive teams. So get the 5. It actually gives them realistically the best chance of making it to the NFC Championship if they wrap up the 5. Because then they're going to end up, I mean, realistically, they get the first win, they come in hot, and then they're able to and they play against a divisional team after that, most potentially, or they play against what would be they end up playing Seattle. I guess it depends on who wins the other.
Yeah, game, it all kind of falls weird. Out. So
it's weird, yeah. Well, it gives them the best chance, realistically, to close out here. Playing an away game against the Tampa Bay or Carolina. That's your best chance of moving forward. So if I'm them, I'm wrapping up this game early. I'm putting big numbers up against the Cardinals, and then I'm resting my starters in the second half after I'm up by 25, 30 points.
Yeah, that's week 18. Lots of intriguing games going on. Sean and I got to talk a little shop about whether we're filming Saturday or Sunday next week, but we will be here one way or another, either previewing the whole wildcard slate or recapping half and previewing the other half. We'll be with you through the Super Bowl, and then we'll take our customary time off. But you're stuck with us. You're stuck with us through the postseason. Check your bets. Hop on Chainlink and pick the winner of the Ravens and the Steelers. Set your fantasy lineups if you're still alive, and enjoy Week 18 of the NFL season.
Week 18's here, guys. The regular season's over. Now time to put your money where your mouth is. Really, really excited for the playoffs. Really, really happy that we got do another season. Excited to do another season next year. Yelling and screaming will be coming back. I'm committing to that, Rick. And I want to say that I really, really enjoy doing this. And it's great to talk to you guys. Can't wait for another great week of football. And enjoy.
Yeah. Yelling and screaming. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.